My son's in right now.
Okay,
Great.
so
Thanks,
we're on the
what was your
record.
specialty?
I was a aircraft mechanic, helos.
And what was your airframe?
It was a CH-46.
CH-46, yeah, excellent. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in CH-47, so.
Oh, Army, huh?
Oh, yeah, I was 28 years Army.
Oh, thanks for your service.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I finished out in Afghanistan and came back from that and said, okay, I'm good now.
Good to meet you, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I had to zoom in.
And you're meeting the rest of the committee, so that Jordan, on the
Nice to meet
street.
you.
All right.
Steve is our new operator for Whitewater, Jordan.
Awesome.
So you'll be the lead and Adam will be back up, or?
I'm not sure how that's gonna actually play out. Adam's gonna be sort of moving into some other areas of Whitewater.
Okay,
So we haven't figured out exactly who the primary operator is going to be as of yet, but I'm should be the secondary, and we'll be bringing somebody in as the primary. Is my guess as to how that's going to work. But I'm still getting up to speed on this. So
that's fine. Well, you're here today, so you know we're gonna be contacting you for.
Once we know you.
Now
Join the meeting.
Now we'll be on your back. No.
Once we know you, Steve, the committee never lets go of you, and I'm living proof of that. I've been going for 2.5 years. They reach out, snag me right back. I win.
that's all right. I'll do my best.
That's great. And that's Wendy Waskin also on Zoom. Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
She's on Zoom, on
She's
mute.
on
You're
mute.
muted.
And then, and
Hi,
Wendy,
sorry about that.
Wendy's been a member for over, what, 10 years maybe? How long are you in the committee?
Could be, I haven't been keeping track.
So I think I'm probably the oldest member. Maybe 10 or so, or 12 years, and I lost track. Then is Wendy. Then Tom, although his service has been interrupted several times.
We had a break in
times.
service.
So his is spotty. And Jordan, fortunately, we have Jordan. So we're recruiting, so anybody that you know of that is interested in drinking water, please send them our way. But, oh no, I forgot to mention, Malu is our, another member. She's traveling today, so we'll meet her next time. All right, so we will start, and I don't have to read that thing again.
Nope, well,
right?
yeah, you just mentioned that we are not a quorum and that,
Okay,
yeah.
so
not-
we
it's
don't
not
have a
meeting.
quorum in person, so we can't really vote today on anything, but we can certainly carry out our discussions and information, which is, I think, one of the main things that we need to do, so. Appreciate everybody's attendance, remote or otherwise. I'm sorry that you didn't come in person, because we have delicious chocolate chip cookies and truffles from Denise Donovan, so. I'll do my best to cover for you guys. So,
Yeah, so it sounds like that's what I was wanting to ask you about your program.
Oh, I think that was Wendy's background, that's all.
oh, okay, all right. So first item is minutes, but we can't approve them, but if anybody had a chance to read them, are there any edits to the last meeting minutes?
I think we should discuss them when we have a chance to approve them with quorum, so
Okay,
that,
but if there are any,
if they're at it, again, we should do that when there's
When there's
quorum,
quorum.
yeah.
okay, never mind. If you have any comments, you can't. That's just kidding. If you do have comments, you can say them, and we'll take them up again when there's quorum. So nothing that comes to mind. Okay. So for tasks, I have not done my 2 tasks. I still have to contact Tim Sweeney, DPW, and I have not done so, so. Does anybody else want to take on that task? Because I've had it for like 3 months and have not done so. So I don't know if
I'll take it on. I need to swing by and meet Tim, so I'll
Okay.
do it as a face-to-face or mask or whatever you prefer.
that'd be great.
So, yeah, I'd like to take that on for a couple of weeks.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and what we want to make sure is that we continue to send our staff, DPW staff, to the Green Snow Pro.
And I
Even,
don't know anything about green snow program.
Oh, boy.
I know a lot about it, so
so,
that's great.
but we want to, because I guess now the municipal employees can't get certified. Because there needs to be a change in the law. Is that it, Jordan? What was the thing?
What's the problem?
Jordan knows more. Still on mute.
Still on you, Jordan. What's the problem with the green snow pro?
So the thing with the Green Snow Pro is that municipal employees used to be able to get certified, but there was something that happened with the legislation. Wendy, you're welcome to jump in if you know more about this than I do. And municipal employees were no longer allowed to get certified, just private salt applicators. So our goal was to talk to the DPW director and encourage him to encourage the municipal staff to stay up to date on their trainings, just in case that legislation changes again, so that municipal employees can get certified. And I think that's where we're holding off on that step right now.
Okay, great. Thank you for that background. I'll give Ted a call and find out what happened to the legislation, or Rainey, and before I talk to Tim. So thanks for that.
Yeah. So
And
Tom, I guess I can interject a little bit. I think it was a reinterpretation of the legislation. I don't think there was a change. So I think that resulted in we were no longer certifying them. And I believe there is legislation, either it was last session or this session, to modify it to specifically allow certification for those municipal operators. So I'm not sure about what the status of that is, but yeah, certainly follow up to find out where DES is at with that.
Okay, great. Thanks for that background, Wendy. I appreciate it. I'll give Ted a call and then I'll talk to Tim.
And because we want our DPW staff to follow the practices, even if they can't get certified, we are interested in Green Snow Pro practice.
And I think that's the sense of the committee. Everybody feel pretty strongly about that? Yeah, I think so. Okay,
So that's,
great.
all right, so now you can put
Well, Steve,
completed on
I'm
my
surprised that
task.
you didn't nod on that from a water, drinking water
Yeah.
quality, groundwater quality protection point of view. Are you familiar with the Green Snow Pro at all?
No, I'm just trying to soak in some stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, really.
Yeah, okay, all right, so we'll let you catch up a little bit. Okay,
And Tom, I just want to say, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but Turry Pond, we've been doing some sampling out there, the Conservation Commission has, and it does have pretty high chloride levels in a certain couple specific spots in the watershed that lead to that. So whether it's, from water softeners or, more likely from road salt. So it is an issue in both. So we definitely want to make sure they're, trying to reduce that application as much as possible.
absolutely, great point, Wendy. And Michelle Tremblay, aware of that also, those results for Turi?
I know we have been part of that study that they've been working on. So for the Turkey River, I think is what you're probably referring to. So
Absolutely right.
I believe so.
Okay, great, thanks for that.
Michelle was the yes or the?
No, she's the chair of the Upper Merrimack Monitoring Program
Okay.
and a member of the Water Board or the Wetlands Board, or both.
Okay. And so this sampling, Wendy, was it Turry Pond, you said? That's finding the salt? Is it-
The Turkey River watershed, to which Turry Pond, is part of that watershed.
All right. Thank you. All right, my next one was to identify the manganese and arsenic fact sheets so that Jordan can kind of pick a spot on the website. And I haven't sent the link, but it's, the manganese one is, I think, 3-8 maybe.
Okay,
And
I
arsenic,
can find that tonight.
yeah, and arsenic is 3-2.
Okay,
And those are updated. Manganese is updated for the 0.1 milligram per liter advisory and all that.
awesome.
So that would be
I
great.
gotta talk to Brandon, Jordan. You're supposed to have memorized the arsenic fact sheet word for word by this point. You've been in drinking water long enough. I'll talk.
Uh-oh.
All right, next one is Whitewater. I don't know, Steve, did anybody let you know that there was some tash for Whitewater?
I kind of sat in at the last meeting, but Eric had to bow out for a family emergency sort of thing tonight, so I'm taking the lead, but I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, no, that's fine, and, you know, please do ask us. So we were, about a year ago at least, we've been following the salt contamination at the wells, at the municipal wells for a while. And what we agreed to or requested cooperation from Whitewater from a year ago was to take monthly, samples with some frequency for the municipal wells for sodium, chloride, and those would be monthly laboratory samples. And then for conductivity on a weekly basis. Because the conductivity is a field measurement, so that if you could take, if you would be able to take weekly, you know, just with visits to the pump house. So, and the reason for that was to have, to see if we could have a seasonal trend from those, for those contaminants.
Yeah, I see. I do have a partial spreadsheet here for the, I think we have samples from May and June, and everything looks pretty stable except for the conductivity. So I don't have temperature to go along with that. So I don't know if it's been affected by temperature. It should be pretty stable because it's groundwater, but if it's gone up at all, that might account for the change in microsemen from May to June. But I don't have access to any of the July data yet. I think it's in the logbook. I believe Eric was going to put together a spreadsheet
Yeah.
for our stuff, but I don't have access to that as of right now. But I can follow up on that.
That'd be great. So I started a spreadsheet with that May, June data that you guys sent along. So if you could just backfill that as far as you have data would be helpful.
Sure.
Because as I mentioned, we've talked about this for about a year, so it would be nice to have, if we started May of 2020, it would be wonderful if we have actually captured this, 1 year cycle. And if
Do you
we
know-
have, we'll just continue forward until we do.
Do you know when the initial ask was for our readings to take
Yeah,
care?
yeah, the additional ask was sodium and chloride
And
monthly,
what time frame were we supposed to have started that?
once per month. Once per
And-
No,
month.
when did it start? When did you ask them
Oh,
to start?
about a year ago,
Year ago.
so at least June 2020, maybe May 2020, or even before.
Okay,
And
so May
Steve,
to June.
Steve, if you've got records going back before that, and you send me the records, I'll load them in the spreadsheet. I mean, to save you the time of doing that.
Sure, I'll
Yeah.
get as far back as we have. I'll get them to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what because those are non-compliance samples, so they're not on the one stop for the state, they're not
Right.
public. So it would be whatever you can find in records, operating records from the station.
Sure,
Um,
I'm sifting through all kinds of stuff as I get accustomed to the office and stuff. So
And
I'm
if
sure I'll
it's
come across.
If paper only, you can give them to Alvina and we'll get them, so we can put them in, or if you are able to put them in the spreadsheet, that'd be great. But as far back as you can go for any of those parameters, sodium chloride, conductivity, temperature, sure, but that's not as critical. We know sort of the temperature swings. So.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of swings you get in there. that's the only thing I can see that would change the microsiemens amount.
And then
from-
I noticed in the data that you sent us, there's some alkalinity measurements. And I don't think, we were not asking for alkalinity. We know there's none actually in the wells. So that's a different matter that we should also address with the corrosion control, but right now you are adding pH adjustment. But the alkalinity is not something that we requested. We know it, I doubt that there's much variability there.
Sure.
Even with the seasons. Because there's just none to work with. It's
I'm
none.
familiar with that.
Yeah, for the gravel wells, which is great. But that would be great. Thank you for your help with that.
No problem.
And then our second question for Whitewater was on the best management practices. There was the BMP inspections are supposed to be done every 3 years. And Whitewater did them 3 years ago. The next 3-year due date was October 2020. And we
I saw
don't think we got them done last year, but I think you were starting them this year.
Right, so I believe we have 5 completed and we need 6 more to fill them out. And we have phone calls and letters out to make appointments for them. Our operators are actively pursuing to get into these places. It takes some hours at some of the sites, and it's hard to get people to follow up and make appointments for it. But we're definitely scheduling. I tried to nail down the operator as to when he thinks we could have them all done, and he said late August. I know that's the way out from where we needed to be to get the waiver, but basically this time of year with all the TC positives you get and all the different systems, it's hard to have an operator like dedicated to BMP.
Yeah, and so, and late August is right around the corner, so that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, and that's what this committee is, a set of volunteers, we're at your disposal. So if you need us to make phone calls, we're happy to track people down, on behalf of the town to try to get that done, because if the chemical waiver is riding on it, and then there's also, that's a condition of the well approval as well. So those are important things
Sure, we're definitely working on it though.
to get done. But yeah, let us know through an email, through Alvina, and she'll pass it on. Whatever we can help with, we're happy to spend the hours leaving messages and sending emails to people. We're good at- Especially in the evening, we're good at sending emails and asking for things. So,
Well, that's great. I'll let them know.
okay, thank you. Anything else for Whitewater that we can think of? And again, just see, so you know, the municipal wells are extremely high sodium and chloride levels, 300, 400. And so we really want to try to minimize continued contamination to the aquifer. So wherever we can, reviewing drainage areas, off the parking lots, stormwater culverts, all of those things are contributors. However, we can reduce the contamination to that aquifer is important.
Sure. I heard some rumors that there was a salt storage facility.
Yeah. Yeah,
in town.
there was years ago, actually, when that was one of the conditions of the well approval initial, this was in 2012. So that was addressed. So yeah, there was a salt shed upstream, and that was addressed because it wasn't covered or whatever, but that was a part of the well approval. So
Okay.
that's historical, absolutely. We corrected that. But the levels haven't gone down. And so and we know from the monitoring wells that there really is a plume coming from one direction. Because we have monitoring well data, and one of the wells, which is W6, I think, or one of the 3 wells, is almost an order of magnitude difference from the others. and if not, I'm don't remember the exact numbers, but it's clearly different than the other two monitoring wells.
Does that fall in line with the location of the salt storage facility, or is that totally separate?
I think that's totally separate,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're thinking that is more of a runoff issue.
Yes,
Okay,
so that's sort of what we're chasing. To try to reduce that. And then the other water quality issue with the municipal wells is manganese. And that's not something that we can address with salt contamination because that's naturally occurring, but I think you were also doing monthly manganese non-compliance just to have additional water quality data.
sure. From the spreadsheet you sent, or somebody sent, those are pretty stable. Maybe gone up a little bit over the course of the last few months, but I don't have, like I said, I don't have that data, but I will get it. If we've been taking, I'm sure we've been taking them. I just don't have access to that spreadsheet at this moment.
Yeah, and the same thing to look for whatever's available. And with manganese, the issue is that the state has proposed standards. They're not in rule yet, but they're proposed to be. And so this is rule, they're in the rulemaking process to adopt 0.1 milligrams per liter as an advisory requirement. So if Bo at entry point from the pump station, if we hit the 0.1, but the municipal system would have to issue public notice to the consumers to advise that not to provide water to bottle-fed infants. It's for infants only is the issue. And those that are drinking water directly. So it's bottle-fed infants are susceptible to manganese of 0.1 or greater. And that's where the wells are. They're just bordering on 0.1. So I think that's an important consideration for the town to be watching those levels, because if we have to treat, that would be expensive.
Yeah, what's the treatment level?
The treatment level is 0.3, so I
0.3.
think we're comfortably below that. So, but we're at the advisory level, below the treatment level,
Okay, that's what I thought.
post-treatment level.
Opposed.
Well, the advisory, so the second level is 0.3, and that is already an adopted AGQS
Okay, got it.
standard,
Yep, there you go.
which makes it by extension, makes it a water quality standard in New Hampshire this is already on the book. So the 0.3 is already a given. But the 0.1 would be an additional advice.
Okay. And that's
Right.
coming down the pipe, right?
That's coming down the pipe, yeah. The proposed date is July 1, 2022 for compliance with for start of public notice.
July of 22.
July 1, 2022, which would be Q3 2022.
Okay.
Whenever that sample is taken.
All right, we should have plenty of data by then.
So now you're on record as being informed, so. So this isn't.
Come again? You're coming in broken and garbled. I'm sorry.
So still time to run to the next.
Whitewater must have known that the public process had kicked off on manganese.
Sure, yeah.
Someone on your team did that for sure.
I don't want to speak for anybody, but I'm sure that we know that it's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Chris Culbertson was aware,
There you go.
and he moved over to Hooksett, that's why we lost him. But yeah, but you know, you have to talk about these things multiple times because you hear it once and you know, it gets put.
Oh, that's way out in July. Yeah, we're not worried about that.
Yeah, it's way out of July. We'll forget about it, right? So, and it's in the 0.1 will be a 30-day advisory, a 30-day public notice. So you'll have 1 month to issue the notice, but the 0.3 will be a 24-hour notice, an acute public notice. So that's a big deal.
Okay.
So I
Well,
don't think
hopefully
we'll
we
be
don't
at
get
the
there.
point. Hopefully we're not there yet, but just to finish this topic, the salt contamination could impact the manganese. Because the more we add sodium to the ground, the more it mobilizes other cations in the soil.
Okay,
So we have observed, I have observed at other sites where a salt contamination issue from a brine disposal has mobilized manganese and calcium and iron, creating a huge issue with the wells down, years down the line. I mean, it takes a while, but this, so it could be related. The salt contamination could impact us, the manganese eventually if we don't stop the loading.
okay, so we need to find that.
So
salt
it is,
contamination.
it seems different, but it might not be.
Understood.
Okay,
Cindy, I have a question. Cindy, can I ask a question on the 30-day notice?
yeah,
Is that, so the town has 30 days in which to issue the notice? Is that what you're
and
saying, the-
certify.
about the advisory? And then does it just stay in place? I mean, because I'm assuming this isn't something that changes.
It will be every quarter, so the
Okay,
the sample would be once a quarter, because at those levels, they'll be placed on quarterly sampling. Anything above 0.15. Oh, actually, yeah, I think anything above 0.1. And I don't know if Jordan has looked at this more carefully, but I think anything above 0.1, would be placed on quarterly. And then a public notice would have to be issued every quarter.
okay, to the
As soon
users.
as you get the results
And-
back.
Right, so if the town chooses or does not treat, then conceivably we'll be issuing those notices on a quarterly basis.
Every quarter, yeah. And so that's a cost just for the notices, it's a trust issue, it's,
Mhm. Sure.
and treatment is not, so we might be able to implement like a sequestering product for treatment at that level. But that's not, that doesn't get you out of the public notice because it stays in the water. It still has an effect on infants, even if it's sequestered. So sequestering is no longer a get out of jail free thing. It's just not, it might stop the staining, but that's about it.
Yeah, it'll solve the aesthetic problems, but it won't solve the actual compliance problem.
Exactly. And until, and there's no, in order to install a set of filters for the plant, that is probably not anywhere in the next 20 years. I can probably pretty sure of that. Because that's a very expensive endeavor to install.
By generating enough revenue with the customer base.
Yeah, great, yeah, so I don't think it's really in the projection that we could install, be able to afford to install filtration. So our only approach is prevention, watershed protection, pretty much,
Notification.
and notification as needed, so. All right, so Jordan, yours was next, but that, it was just when you have a chance to look at the websites to see where we can put those fact sheets would be great.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Or Jordan, I was wondering, and when you're looking at the website, we have the resources broken down into, I think municipalities and public. I don't know if we want to consider getting rid of that distinction, because I find it a little cumbersome because, I'm a private well owner, but also, want to look at the regulatory side perhaps for municipalities. So, and I don't, we can discuss it more when we have a quorum at the committee, but maybe we want to just have a topical area as opposed to first breaking it down that way.
Yeah, I like that idea, Wendy.
Kind of think of that, yeah, and feel free to, we can overhaul our website however we want, so please, open mind, whatever you think is welcome ideas because, you know, it's good to have an up-to-date website and what, that people can actually follow. It's these outdated things and cumbersome stuff, that's not helpful to anybody. So that'd be great. Anything else on the web page? And you might want to also, because we're still doing, well, we're still technically in a drought, not in this area, but north. But we are, Wendy's continuing to watch the drought notices, right?
Yeah, and so right now we've removed that because this part of the state was no longer, you know, in any type of drought situation. But I try and remember to look at that on a weekly basis.
So when we look at the website, just where that, because just to kind of keep an area where we want to have that front and center, this is where we'll update or to continue to point at the map. So that we have current information.
Right, and it's still there. It's still there. It just doesn't pop up. Alvina could probably say exactly how it came up before.
It was on the
more-
emergency notification right off the first page, which is gone from there now. But I think if you go to our website, the first page, it'll be on the left as a news flash. So there's a map and I think it's still there.
So right now, I guess we have
I-
a news flash.
Yeah, just on our page. It's not an emergency
Right,
anymore.
right.
Oh, I thought we removed the news flash is what I thought we
Oh.
did last, because it no longer really was a news
Or
flash.
maybe, yeah, because Wendy
I-
emailed me and said, remove
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think she did.
So,
She did whatever you said when.
Yeah.
right, so it's still there. You just have
Okay.
to, that link to the map and what, you know, the drought information is still there. It's just not popping up as a news flash.
Okay. And it's not an emergency anymore, and that's fine, but yeah, no, just to keep that in mind is in the overall layout of the website. Go ahead, Tom.
Steve, I know you're a little bit new to the team, but did Whitewater see any variation in the monitoring of the production wells across the last 2 years, across the 16 months of the drought?
I wouldn't have that data on hand, but I can check into it.
That would be very important to know because UNH is doing a study right now to try and forecast based on models and period record and so on and so forth, how many times we're going to go through these droughts. The current indications are we're on a decadal cycle, you know, every 10 years kind of thing, 8 to 12. And I would be, and perhaps the committee would also be very interested in knowing how our wells came through this last one.
Sure.
Yeah, and I can tell you, actually, we do have water levels, and I received the updated graph today, a copy of it, so I can put that as a follow-up, and I'll share the graph. So the monitoring wells actually had their lowest level, it looks like, at the beginning of July,
Okay.
and are just starting to rebound
Lowest level in
water level in
period of
for the
record.
past year, or yeah. So I'll I have that actually in my email, but. I don't know
Yeah,
if I can
Steve,
see it.
as we look at the integration project potential between Bow and Hooksett, knowing how those wells responded during the drought, I think would be very, very important.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Get it up on my phone.
Yeah, we can-
But I can I'll follow up and I'll send that so that everybody can see it.
Yeah. you can look at it too.
Yeah, those should match up with the drawdowns on our two wells, the monitoring wells. So it'd be nice to know if they're all doing the same thing.
Yeah. All I can say is apparently the end of the drought and my departure from DPS aligned with each other, so I think that was very important.
Okay, yeah, I can't seem to have it loaded on my phone, but I have it, so we can see,
Okay.
I'll share that.
Yeah.
And then the production wells, probably they might, I don't know if they've seen any difference in levels. This graph is from the monitoring wells. Those, the production wells are such big producers that they might not seen anything, and we're pumping so little anyway, but I'll try to get that as well. That's my follow-up. All right, the next one was Malu had committed to picking up water test kits to replenish the ones in the town clerk's office, and we did that. That was completed. So there should be enough in the town clerk's office. You haven't heard anything
I
running out?
actually don't know if she brought any. I'm not
I know
sure. She did, she brought them up here?
Actually, yeah.
Oh,
because
okay, 'cause I haven't
actually
seen them.
delivered- yeah,
Okay,
I
yep, then I
delivered
think
at
they
least
should be good.
5, and maybe Malu the other 5.
Okay,
or
I
know
must
we-
have been on vacation when this happened or something, because I haven't heard anything, so I assume we were still low, but
You don't know everything that goes on in this building every minute?
yeah, I was an ocean away and pretty happy, so don't blame me.
We'll let you go this time, all right?
But yeah, if Madhu just delivered them up here, I'm sure, because they haven't
Yeah, I
said
think-
anything.
I think
Okay,
they should be, but if you want to.
I can check with Madula tomorrow. Yep.
And to just let us know when we need another.
I'll ask how much they have left and just email you. How's that? Okay.
All right, for new business, I just wanted to reiterate that we, have to have in-person forums for the future, but can we count on continuing remote access? Because this is fine. You got everybody all right with hybrid like this?
Well, I'm not sure how many meetings we can have this way, because these aren't meetings.
Well, no, if we can get 3 or 4 people here.
Then we need 5. That's the problem. And I don't know if we can go around the requirement, because they went back to what the statute required before, and
Well, like,
that's
for
just
example,
it.
Steve, there's no
He's
reason-
not a member.
No,
He's-
but there's no reason why when we have a full meeting here, Steve can't be digital. There's no law
Right,
against
right.
that.
The other caveat, if you read the legislation, is the board members have to have a reason that is sort of like, not just, I want to join virtually. So they have to have a legitimate reason not to be able to be present.
Well, the committee chair will approve those reasons.
Right, yeah. I don't think they have to be stated publicly. They just have to be to the chair, so.
So we will approve remote access.
But we are still, just to be open, we're still waiting for it. There's nothing officially out of the town. So as of right now, we have no idea what's going on and how we're gonna do it.
But you're not giving back the Zoom license, hopefully, you
Again,
know of.
it ends in a certain time. If we're gonna extend it and get the okay for it, then we'll extend it. Which I don't think will be a big deal unless they jack up the price, but I just want to be honest with you. We're right now just,
Yeah, but
sort
we're
of.
persevering through it. I mean, we're still getting good intellectual work done. We're working together as a team. I
right,
mean,
right.
we'll just keep
I just
doing what
want
we do.
And
Us
I
to
think-
break any laws and, because it is a public meeting, we have to really be sure that we follow through.
Mhm.
Because there are,
So
I would like some
repercussions.
member of the public to chase us around in our public meeting process, because then we will recruit them to be a member of the committee. If they've showed that much interest.
So was this meeting, the Zoom link advertised?
No,
To the public?
no,
It was not.
this wasn't.
Okay. But I think because mostly for the public is why I think we should be.
well, and that's another problem, because if we were to open that meeting, I would be sitting here monitoring, I won't be taking minutes. So that's another thing. It requires a staff member to just pay attention to the meeting. So it won't be that easy if we advertise the link. Because we don't want, right now it's locked. Nobody can join. This is just for Wendy and for Jordan and for Steve to join, as if they were, if we just had them join via phone.
Because it's not-
If it's an open meeting,
then you have to-
people can log on.
Mhm.
What we used to do is we would just ask them to ask me for a password before. This way we know who's coming in and it requires a password. So that's one more thing. But this is not official yet. So for the drinking water, it's less of a problem because you guys are not a land use board.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a lot easier. For
But
land
it's
use boards,
registered in the minutes that the request of the chair and the membership, I hope, is that we retain remote access
As a hybrid approach.
for members and for the public. Because that allows better participation. So I just want. that-
Yep, okay. No, I'll put that in
Say
the,
that as many times as possible.
Is that the sense of the committee? Does everybody feel that way? Just a nod will work? Sure.
I just want to clarify the number of people. So Alvina, you said 5. Is that because is the whole committee supposed, are we supposed to have 7? Because I'm thinking
8
even if
members.
Jordan and we're supposed to have
Yes,
8.
Yeah, without ex
And
officios.
so,
You've never had 8, I don't think.
yeah, it just seems, even if Madhu's our only other person that was missing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even if she showed up and yeah, we'd have to have both Jordan and myself and Madhu here and that's
So
not probably
It
gonna
it
happen.
might be that we could request the select board to reduce the number of members to 5.
Or
Yeah.
change the definition of quorum as a majority of the members, not a majority of the seats. Because counting empty seats
Yeah.
against us for a quorum is a
Yeah,
little bit
that's,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Right.
And I wonder if you can do that by adopting rules of procedure.
Oh,
So if you come up with rules of procedure and it states in there, we are an 8, but if we determine that this is, maybe you can do it that way.
Yeah,
So
if
how do
we
you
had 3,
adopt
that's
the
fine.
rule of procedure? Is that something we do in the minutes or something?
Where you have to come up with a document. You have to review it, I think, and you have to vote to adopt it.
Is there a template for rules of procedure?
I don't know about the template. I know each board, well, planning board has one, zoning board has one. As for the ones that we serve, BDC has one. So
So
I
can
can
you take
send
it-
you, I can
Can
send
you
you
send
the
us
BDC would be the
copy?
easiest because it's
Yeah.
not a
Oh,
land use
first we
board.
check and see if we have it.
No, we
You do
don't.
not.
We
Yeah,
don't.
we've never
Oh,
done that.
perfect.
So,
Right.
So whether
Where
we
you
could,
want.
yeah, maybe the BDC model. and
Yeah,
then we
I'll
could
send-
come up with something.
and then you can just rework it and just take the main, it does set the parameters as to how many members, the election of officers and stuff like that. So.
Awesome. All right, that'll be a task for next meeting. Rules of procedure on quorum.
But Jordan, without revealing your secret super, where are you physically located? Are you in this time zone or where are you at, just roughly?
Yeah, I'm in the time zone.
You're in the time zone, okay?
So, and also could you check, Alvina, if that's something that this committee is allowed to do to develop rules of procedure? Or
Oh,
is that
yeah.
something given that we have the right to do that?
I think you have the right to do that. Every board can
Yes,
come
does.
up with, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you're a public body, so you can come up with rules of procedure.
Awesome. Maybe we can think of some other rules of procedure that we want to adopt. Like, you have to bring cookies every meeting.
I'll do it. I'm happy to.
All right, new business, new members, we have to find more people. So even if we reduce the membership to 5, we're just short all the time. So I think anybody that wants to.
How are the other boards and committees doing? Are we the
With,
shortest of all the short or is everybody short?
no, planning board's full.
Planning board's full?
That's about it. Oh, and BDC, planning board and BDC are the most popular. Zoning board is struggling. Conservation Commission is at 4 now or 5? Wendy just left, so.
You just resigned.
Yeah, I'm not on it anymore, so I don't.
Oh.
Well, congratulations and thanks for being a member for many years.
So, but yeah,
Well, that was so that you could have more time for drinking water, right?
There you go.
Thank you. So I don't know who else we can recruit, but keep that in mind. Any friends? I was thinking of hitting up Jackie. I don't know. But I did ask her a few months ago, and she said maybe in a year or so, because she's pretty busy with,
Yeah, she is.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get some non-DES employees too.
Right.
I love DES employees, believe me, but we ought to get
Yes, we do. Right. It's just that I don't know. I don't have any friends in both, so
some.
I only live,
You have lots of friends.
right, so So please, Tom, anybody needs to, it would be great. There's a cookout on August 26th, if anybody's interested. Just let Tanya know before the 19th.
And that's
The
for volunteers,
appreciation,
yeah.
For
That's always fun.
volunteers, yeah.
And one of the things that's great about it, those who haven't been to it before, like you, Jordan, it's a real chance to meet and quietly talk with the members of the town leadership to, kind of say, hey, what we're working on in drinking water is very important, and, here's some of the key issues, and they really love listening to us, and it's really, really very nice event.
And then next thing is on September 28th, the select board has requested that we provide our annual report out. So usually just the chair attends those, and I just give a summary of our, yearly activities for private well testing, et cetera. This year, anybody, and any year, anybody's welcome to attend, so Tom, if you're available and want to come, that would be great. And actually on the membership, I wanted to mention that I'd like to nominate Tom as future chair whenever we can vote, if you will accept.
I would like to get a sense of the committee. Does anybody in the committee have any concerns with that at all, or is the sense of the committee okay with that? Everybody's okay with that? All right, okay. If nominated, I will serve. If selected, I'll never do my best. But Jordan, I do want to point out that, my years of service, whatever, but we are looking for people to continue to serve. in the long
Future
term.
chairs,
Future chairs,
hint, hint.
exactly.
Certainly.
There you go. Well said.
So maybe next meeting, if we have a quorum, we can take a vote on that. That'd be great. Thank you, Tom, for coming back, number one, and for willing to take on the chairmanship. That would be great. We already talked about the inspections, and then the well testing. Oh, I forgot to ask for the results.
Okay.
I will follow up with because I have to get the results from the lab. But I was going to email last week and I totally spaced, so.
Move that up to Cindy's paragraph. Al.
Yes.
Obviously, when she
Well,
starts
I-
working on things she's got to do, she stops at the end of her
I
paragraph.
put it in the minute, I put it in the agenda, and then I forgot to ask. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see the results from our last testing in June. So that'll be on my task for next month. And next meeting is September 13th. Why so late? Oh, because Labor Day.
Yeah,
is the
Labor
first
Day is the,
Monday.
yeah.
Ooh, you know what? I'll be traveling that day.
You can call it.
Then you really won't have a quorum.
Quorum.
Yeah,
We'll keep
I'll be
going.
in Los Angeles,
Okay.
3 hours difference. Can we postpone it to the 20th? Would anybody?
It might be if it's the 20th, it could be the Conservation Commission meeting that night. I am not sure, though. I have to,
They meet at 7.
yeah. They
Oh,
do.
yeah. So we could sneak in before then. And we don't have double membership on the conservation committee anymore, so.
Well, Wendy has done back-to-back meetings. in the
Yeah,
past.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, if we're gonna be done by 6:45, then yeah, it just leaves me enough time to swap out. And have them, there's sometimes Sandy will show up earlier too.
20th works for me.
Anybody else, the 13th versus the 20th, is that all right?
That works for me. The 20th works for me.
Okay,
That, yeah, 20th should be good.
you're all right.
Nice.
Steve, you think you'll be able to join us then as well?
You're mute.
Unmute.
Sure. Whenever
Okay.
you request my presence, I will be available.
You're
That's
invited
scary.
every month. Already, yes. That would be great.
We'll have cookies too, Steve. I don't know what time zone you're in, but
I'm in the time zone. Yeah.
there we go.
All right, September 20th at 5:30, that's much appreciated. So, that'll be a little bit easier. And then,
I will also check the calendar because that's another thing. We're no longer Zoom. So I'm hoping there's nothing here, but I'll have to check the calendar. That's something we have to come back to, remembering. So I'll email everybody tomorrow on the
okay.
status, and if everything's okay, I'll just change
I
the
have
schedule.
One new topic I'd like to propose.
Yeah.
If you're ready.
Yeah,
when you're
please,
ready.
yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if everybody had a chance to see the boat times that came out on
I did,
whatever,
yes.
July article, the article about their concerns with the cost for water and the PUC article. And it was actually, the original author was,
In-depth New Hampshire.
yeah, it was an advocate group that wrote the article. Any event, the article really brings up some important points, but I think it also brings up a good opportunity for us. And what I'd like to do is draft a letter back to Chuck, or back to the Bow Times technically, saying, hey, that was a really good article, but we got some other key issues with water here in Bow, and we just want to kind of remind you what they are. Here they are: arsenic in residential wells, chloride contamination in our municipal wells and monitoring wells, and and tell you a little bit about, what we need to do about these things, what we are doing and what we need to do. So I'm happy to draft a first version of that to send to Chuck to say, first of all, thanks for putting the water article into the Bow Times so people get sensitized to water issues. But also, let's remember, this issue affects 100 people. We got thousands of people in Bow who are being impacted by arsenic in their wells, and hundreds who are being potentially impacted by other contaminants. So I'd like to do that if the sense of the committee is, sure, go ahead, Tom, knock yourself out.
And I'll give you the updated result from our private link.
Oh,
Because
that'd be
that shows
brilliant.
the arsenic,
Right.
the radon,
And also emphasize what the committee's
And
doing in
lead.
terms of doing the test, helping people do the testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, how does that sound? Get a sense from the committee.
That's a great idea, Tom.
Okay, all right. And of course, I'll draft it and then we'll circulate around and get your thoughts and comments and inputs as always.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Excellent.
Sounds great.
It is 6:25. So we're keeping, making sure that we're not keeping people more than they need to be. So if there's any other comments, anything, what's the topic, other business or?
Yeah, I think that was other business just now.
the one that I just
Yeah.
brought up? Yeah, perfect, thank you.
Any other business?
Going once, going twice. All right, us retirees.
Wendy's gonna talk, Wendy's gonna talk.
Oh, Wendy's got something.
No, I do not.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just getting ready to say goodbye, except
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
coming.
All right.
Us
well,
retirees gotta get the happy hour. You know.
All right, well, thanks, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Great seeing you,
Thank
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Take
Have a
care.
good night.
All right,
Bye.
Bye-bye.